Sincere apologies for the delay. What happened was that a few of our panelists, they had joined in the incorrect link. And while we are just trying to bring them back into the panelist link, I really appreciate your patience for holding on with us, and sincere apologies for this issue. And we're going to start now without any further delay, and we will be uh, going through the program. First of all,
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt you, but Mr. Edwin sir is joined now with us.
Yes, I do see the joining link. Thank you, Veer. So first of all, a very warm welcome to all our youth participants. It is your special day, and I am so happy to welcome you today because tomorrow being the International Youth Day, we are giving you 2 days to celebrate. So today and tomorrow is all up to you. We are going to be with you, and also this is the start of the program. I will not spill the beans and tell you more about the event because I have eminent panelists who are going to talk about the program to you. Welcome, Edwin. Edwin is the counselor from EU. He's the head of the Energy and Climate Action Group. He is with closely associated with this program, Youth Climate Conclave, since last year. And may I take the honor to mention that he has held the program together for all of us, and a very affectionate friend, mentor, and guide to the entire team and all the youth participants. So I hand over now to Edwin to convey the welcome address and introduce the project to all of you. Welcome, Edwin.
Uh, Thank you very much, Livleen, for these kind words. And also from my side, a very warm welcome to all of you. I hope you're all safe and well. So I'm Edwin Kukuk. I work for the European Union delegation to India. So I'm based in New Delhi. A few words about the European Union. The European Union consists of 27 member states, bigger ones like Germany, France, Italy, Poland, smaller ones like Malta, Cyprus, but also Denmark, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Bulgaria. It has 24 different languages. It has a lot of different cultures and different kitchens also. And in that sense, it is comparable to India, which is also very diverse. And like India, Europe is also a democracy. India is the biggest democracy in the world, and after that, it's the European Union with 446 million inhabitants. And for us, it's very important to work together with your country, with India. And one of these areas where we are very keen on cooperation is the area of climate change. You might know that on the 15th of July, there was an EU-India summit between your political leaders and my political leaders. And in this summit, climate change was one of the important areas that was discussed, and it was concluded that the EU-India partnership on clean energy and climate would need to be further strengthened. The EU and India are both very keen on the implementation of the Paris Agreement, and are also very keen on and very ambitious in the area of energy efficiency and renewable energy. In this cooperation between the EU and India on energy and climate change, one of the important projects is the SPIPA project, the Strategic Partnership on the Implementation of the Paris Agreement project. It is financed by the European Union and by Germany, and it's a project that we do in all non-EU G20 countries. In India, we work closely together with the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. They are the nodal ministry for the SPIPA project. And under this people project, one of my favorite activities is the Youth Climate Conclave. So last year we organized the first Youth Climate Conclave with a photo competition and a blog competition. The photo competition resulted in amazing, very beautiful photos, and the blogs in very inspiring blogs that I read with a lot of interest and pleasure. Last year we also had the Youth Climate Conclave itself, which was a 2-day event in parallel to the World Sustainable Development Summit. And it meant that around 80 young people from all over India had a 1-day training on climate change by high-level experts, and a 1-day simulation of climate negotiations, which resulted in a youth climate declaration, which was then read out in the plenary of the World Sustainable Development Summit. This Youth Climate Conclave is organized together with the Ministry of Forest, Environment, Forest and Climate Change, with TERI, and as you know, TERI is hosting this event, with GIZ India, who is also the main implementer of the SPIPA project, and with CEEW. For me, like I said, it was a very inspiring event last year. I was very impressed by the intelligence, creativity, optimism from the youth participating, and I'm very much looking forward to this second Youth Climate Conclave, and I hope you will be as enthusiastic as I was last year, and I'm sure I will be again. So I'm very much looking forward to today's event, and I'm very much looking forward to your contributions, and I hope to see you at some point at the next Youth Climate Conclave. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin. Indeed, encouraging to hear you. And also, may I take the liberty of informing you on behalf of the youth that they will live up to the expectations of this beautiful event put together by such eminent supporters. And we are really privileged to have Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change with us in this journey, because I am sure you would agree, for a country as diverse as India, it is almost impossible to reach out to all parts without a central pivotal support. And that I am so sure that the ministry is going to provide to us, because we, at the end of the program and at the beginning of the program, what we want to see is that the eco clubs, the youth movements, the student groups across the country, running across the schools, the colleges, are all a part of this initiative. The entire program is for the youth, for the children, and we will leave no stone unturned to see that the benefit goes to them. So thank you for the welcome address, Edwin. And yes, I agree that it is a program that you really like, because we never miss you and we keep bothering you on all occasions related to the project, and we'll keep doing so in future. Thank you for the kind words. Now, for the benefit of the participants who were not there in the last year of the journey, which was the first edition, we have a photo journey compiled of all the major events that happened in the first edition. So I will request Veer to please play the photo journey compilation of the first edition of the Youth Climate Conclave. Please see the screen and take the benefit of this virtual gallery. Veer, you will have to play the music. The music is not there. I think there is some technical glitch. He'll just get back to us. Thank you, Veer. There was some issues with the audio. I think in the concluding part of today's program, we'll screen it again to you, and you would have captured the gist. And anyway, I'm going to speak about the program in detail in my talk with you. We will now move on to the next part of the program, which is actually for the youth and by the youth. We have Darsh Vatsa from Delhi Public School Sonipat with us, who was a youth delegate in the first edition and also a consistent participant of all the events held under the conclave. So Darsh Vatsa is with us today, and now I will invite him to let us know about his perspective about this program and how he is linked to it and how he would like to see this program further flourish in the coming times. Darsh, please come on video. Thank you.
Esteemed guests, panelists, and my dear friends, on the eve of International Youth Day, I am honored to share my reflections on the first edition of the Youth Climate Conclave. First of all, a warm good morning to all the people who are here in the kickoff event for another version of the prestigious Youth Climate Conclave. Hope you all are safe and doing well. Children across the globe are now growing more and more aware about climate change and its negative impacts, and are also participating in several activities to learn more and have their voices heard, thus making this topic even enter the 9 p.m. dinner talks. I personally heard about climate change for the first time in class 4th, and at that time it didn't gain any important space in my mind. However, when I started hearing on climate related concerns in class 7th, I actually got interested in knowing about the various aspects of climate change. But due to my keen interest in history and information technology, I didn't get any time to learn extensively about climate change. Luckily, my school got a notification about the Youth Climate Conclave blogging contest, and my teachers asked me to be a part of it. This opportunity encouraged me to learn about climate change. Even though my blog didn't get selected in the contest, it gave my brain the kickoff it needed to learn about climate change, and very soon became my topic for holiday discussions. Then in January, my friend who might be here in this meeting also, Kushi Aluwalia, told me that TERI India is about to organize the Youth Climate Conclave. And well, it was heaven to my ears. I went through the registration form and filled up whatever was required. And by God's grace, I was selected to come for the conclave. The very first day, we learned about the basic concepts and the science behind climate change, along with having some amazing tea of the Latvians and gazing at some of the most beautiful photographs from all across India selected in the photography contest. I also learned about the position of different parties like the European Union, Umbrella Group, G77, etc., and their plan for combating climate change. After that, we learned about mitigation and adaptation solutions. And all youth participants were allocated into teams representing different country groups. We negotiated like leaders from different groups, but the aim was to reach a common position. At the end of the day, with the help of the Youth Secretariat, we formulated our youth declaration on climate change, whose basis was the points from the discussion. The third and the last day was quite different. This time, we, the YCC participants, were alone as we joined the main event that was the World Sustainable Development Summit 2020 at the India Habitat Center, where we witnessed enthralling discussions on sustainability and climate change and an expo of such innovative ideas which can help us to build a better future. The end of the event was with us, the youth, presenting the Youth Declaration on Climate Change, which concluded with this line: what we do to the nature determines what the nature does to us, and that determines what we do to ourselves. The line still echoes in my ears and tells me that we are the first generation to face the impacts of climate change and the last one to fight it off. Throughout the event, we met and interacted with new people from all across India and even abroad who helped us understand more about how their countries have reacted to climate change. From that day onwards, I continued learning extensively about climate change, and it gave me and my life a new perspective. I joined many campaigns, and not just that, I even propagated whatever I knew about climate change to my classmates. And I would like to proudly mention that 60% of the people I told about climate change are now somewhere active in taking action for the same. Moreover, I got the chance to speak and write on forums like Let Me Breathe and Youth for Climate India. I even worked with my school on ideating applications that can count plastic footprint. Also, I left my love for non-veg behind to live a more sustainable life. On top of all this, I brought a new influx of sustainable items in my own family, which ranged from things like bamboo tissues to even edible cutlery, and even asked my friends to bring more consciousness about climate change in their livelihood. However, due to the lockdown, my actions somewhere got limited, but I have continued to learn more about it and spread more knowledge about it in whatever way is possible for me. And there is no doubt that whatever change I am bringing and whatever change I will bring in the future, MOEFCC, European Union, TERI, GIZ, India, CWW, and all the people who made Youth Climate Conclave 2020 possible will be an equal contributor to that. I believe that I am firmly contributing to the noble cause of fighting for climate change and that I shall not stop until the goal has been achieved. With my concluding remarks, I would just like to say that I believe that Youth Climate Conclave 2021 will be more energetic, more interactive, and with more people engaged with it to make it a marvelous congregation of future leaders who will contribute towards making the world a true utopia. Thank you and stay very, very safe.
Thank you, Darsha. It was so nice to listen to you again. And every time that we meet you, our our dreams are likely to come true because it is students like you, the enthusiastics, who are going to make a difference to this planet Earth. And stay tuned with us because this second edition of Youth Climate Conclave has a very strong mentoring and peer to peer learning component. So it is then you youth enthusiasts who have benefited from the program are going to reach out to more students, more friends, and create a ripple effect in the entire ecosystem. So thank you, Darsha. It was so nice to listen to you. So we move on now, and as we move on, it's my pleasure and honor to invite Dr. Subrat Bose, who's a director at Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, to the program. Dr. Subrat Bose will be linked to the current project, this role from the ministry. And also, sir, as you go through the details of today's event, you will come to know about what the project has worked on till now. And also, we will learn from the areas that you suggest for improvement. So, as I mentioned earlier, the project cannot be a success without ministries association, and we want to reach out to all parts of the country who are involved through the eco clubs, through the youth movements that the ministry is associated with, and we will seek your advice and inputs at all levels of the program. So welcome, sir, and over to you, Dr. Bose, for your comments and ideas on the program. Please.
Thank you. This is my first event with this program. And good morning to everyone. And I wish safe during this COVID-19 situation. And I have the privilege to be here for the kickoff event for the Youth Climate Conclave 2. I believe around 1,000 youth had registered for this event. So it is a great opportunity to me to address them. So considering the climate conclave, I am starting with little introduction on the climate change. When we talk about climate change, basically our climate system is driven by the solar energy and controlled by the 5 subsystems: atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere, and cryosphere. Climate system vary naturally over a time scale of 1,000 to million of years, and due to sun-earth geometry, ocean floor topography, and change in atmospheric composition. However, the population growth and increasing demand for food, livelihood, and urbanization is putting additional stage to the natural ecosystem. Release of radioactive active gases, basically the greenhouse gases, by man-made activities is influencing the radiation balance of the Earth and increasing the temperature of the Earth's surface as greenhouse gas and greenhouse effect. The anthropogenic human-induced activities are increasingly rapid, and it is influencing the natural climate system, impacting water resources, agriculture, forestry, coastal areas with sea level rise, and human health. It is interesting to note that the greenhouse gases are not toxic like other pollutants, threatening life, but they have tremendous impact on socioeconomy, affecting all sectors of the economy, including life and support system. To address the ever-growing problems of climate change, the United Nations is at the forefront of the effort. In 1992, the Earth Summit established the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, with the ultimate aim of the convention is to prevent dangerous human interference with the climate system. Later, the Kyoto Protocol emerged to legally bind the developed countries parties to emission reduction targets. Thereafter, in 2016, Paris Agreement brings all nations into a common cause to undertake ambitious effort to combat climate change. The aim of Paris Agreement is to strengthen global response to the threat of climate change by keeping the global temperature rise this century well below 2 degrees centigrade, above the pre-industrial level, and to pursue efforts to limit temperature increase when further to 1.5 degrees Celsius. When we talk about Indian context, we all are well aware that India is vulnerable to extreme weather events and natural disasters like floods, droughts, cyclones, heat and cold waves, storms, landslides, etc. These events are occurring frequently over the Indian region, and due to climate change, the frequency of the extreme events may further increase in future. To address direct impact and prevention and control of climate risk, Government of India spends around 12% of its annual budget, or about 2.6% of its GDP, for these programs. In order to address the climate change, there are several projects, programs, schemes, policies are going on throughout the country. India has launched overarching policy framework, National Action Plan on Climate Change, with 8 national missions, including National Solar Mission, National Water Mission, National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, National Mission on Enhanced Energy Efficiency, National Mission on Sustainable Habitat, Green India Mission, National Mission on Strategic Knowledge for Climate Change. These missions are addressing adaptation and mitigation aspects of climate change and knowledge generation in a comprehensive manner. In addition, 2 more missions are under consideration. They are health and coastal missions. Under National Action Plan on Climate Change, almost all states in India have prepared their state action plan on climate change, highlighting the key vulnerabilities and measures to achieve mitigation and adaptation goals. In addition, India has established dedicated National Adaptation Fund for climate change to finance adaptation activities at local level. Under National Adaptation Program, 30 projects in 28 states and union territories with allocation of about 850 crore is ongoing. The allocated states UTs have initiated innovative adaptation activities. Leaving aside these domestic actions, at international level, India as a country is already a leadership role. It has ratified the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, its Kyoto Protocol, and the Paris Agreement. Under Paris Agreement, it has submitted its national determined contribution. India's national determined contribution has target of reducing emission intensity of its GDP by 2033 to 35% by 2030, from 2020 5 level. And next target is achieving 40% installed capacity from non-fossil fuel sources and creating an additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent through additional forest and tree cover by 2030. According to Climate Action Tracker, India is one of the few countries with 2-degree compatible rated Paris Agreement climate action targets. This is basically commendable for the country. The leadership role of India is not just limited to domestic action and this ratification of the convention. It is also leading the International Solar Alliance, enabling several participating countries to collectively address key common challenges for scaling up of solar energy in line with their needs. India is also one of the countries leading to global initiative launched under the industry transition track of the United Nations Secretary General's Climate Summit. It will guide the greenhouse gas emitting industries toward the low carbon economy. In addition to government's actions, the Indian industries are also actively implementing different emission reduction project programs with participation in clean development mechanism projects of the United Nations Framework Convention and its Kyoto Protocol. And at domestic level, they are participating the perform, achieve, and trade schemes for energy efficiency certificates and renewable energy certificate mechanism. India is doing a lot, but there is enough scope and space. Strengthening youth involvement through awareness creation and capacity building activities can play a pivotal role in addressing the challenges arising due to climate change. As per India's census 2011, youth in the age group of 15 to 24 years constitute 1/5, around 19% of India's total population. So there is enough potential. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has been involving youth through different forums and platforms to freely express their voice, exchange ideas and experiences with their peers, policymakers and other key stakeholders. The Eco Club established across the country as part of the MMFCC's National Green Crop initiative started in 2001 and 2 is playing a vital role in institutionalizing the youth initiative in the country. There are around 1 lakh eco clubs across the country. As part of this initiative, the students from the remote part of the country are encouraged to be part of the eco club. The diversity of views and solutions from across the country may be shared in a single platform, which the country will gain accordingly. Further, the Science Express with 16 coach AC train custom built for the Department of Science and Technology by Indian Railways traveled across India, exhibiting at 455 locations, becoming the longest running and most visited mobile science exhibitions. It aimed to create awareness among various sections of the society as to how climate change can be combated through mitigation and adaptation. Through exhibitions, Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology, the exhibition was open to all, but primarily targeted awareness among students and teachers. Ministry also supports a wide range of capacity building activities and education programs on climate change through initiatives such as GLOBE program, Global Learning and Observations to Benefit the Environment, an international science and education program which provide a unique opportunity on hands-on approach-based climate environmental learning for the school students. The first Youth Conclave, organized together by the ministry, the strategic partnership for implementation of the Paris Agreement PIPA project of the European Union, GIZ, TERI, and CEW was successful in creating a momentum that needs to be strengthened. The highlights and output from the previous enclave shared today demonstrate the high level of engagement that Youth Climate Conclave achieved. Youth Declaration on Climate Change presented to policymakers at the World Sustainable Development Summit 2020 as an outcome of the Youth Climate Conclave highlights the solution-oriented approach that Youth asked policymakers to prioritize. It is also a measure to build capacity of future leaders and professionals related to climate change sector. Many participants used to learn from the Youth Climate Conclave, implement community-based projects and solutions as shared during a follow-up webinar organized as part of the Art Day celebration on 22nd April 2020. Through a series of activities under the Youth Climate Conclave partnership with USPIPA project is building awareness and capacity of youth on issues related to climate change policy making at international as well as national level. Yes, around the world are taking concrete initiative to address the challenges of climate change at local level. Indian youth should also learn the complex relationship between development and climate and science, adaptation, mitigation, for supporting constructive roles in the society. I, on behalf of the ministry, hope that the participating youth today will learn from this event and try to explore an active role in contributing to climate action in India at present and in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bose. It was a really informative and well-needed, much-needed words that you have brought forward to the forum. The strength of this particular conclave rests on two pillars. One is, of course, the content enrichment regarding climate change, for which we look up to ministry for always their continuous support. And for the privilege of students, I would also like to inform them that the ministry has taken efforts to vet and clear each and every document that reaches out to you. So our ministry, our officials at the ministry are conscious that the right messaging is sent to the students so that the right information, after the imbibation of correct information, you're able to take corrective measures. So thank you for these educative and enriched remarks. And of course, we also look up to the ministry to spread the message to all parts of the country through the vehicle of EcoClimate. For this, we will be in discussion with you, Dr. Bose, and your other colleagues at the ministry. And thank you so much for your participation and presence today. Now, we come to a very exciting part of the program. If it is so difficult to do certain things virtually, but we are also trying to put our thoughts together and see how best we could do it. We are going to officially kick off the event through the virtual launch of the event poster. And for that, I invite Mr. Edwin and Dr. Bose to please remain on the video mode and the conference while my colleague shares the poster with you. And also in your esteemed presence, we would like to kick off this particular project poster, which will then be sent to the students across the country. So over to you, Edwin. Also, I will request you to come on video, and Dr. Subrat Bose. So, sir, this is the poster that we have developed for the event, and this will be sent to students who were a part of the conclave last year, and also to the new group of students who will be a part of the project this year. So, Taru, could you just help them launch the project poster and officially kick off the event?
So what should we do? Should we say launch or something at the same time, or?
Yes, that will be nice, because the control of the poster is with Taru, and while you're on the camera, you could just give a brief statement about the event.
So I think we both made our statements. So I think we should just continue with now formally launching the poster, which will then be circulated all over India.
Yes.
Mr. Bose, is it okay if we both said after 3 counts, we both say, please launch, and then it's launched? Yes. So I will count to 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Please launch. So it could be launched now. Yeah. Tadu?
Technical glitches.
I think there's a time lapse because I have launched it from my system. Probably the screen would come now.
But I am so happy that we are coming through all these issues now, because our webinars and our direct students have to be really perfect, and we should not be looking into any of the issues at that stage.
Is it not yet visible?
No, Taru. The poster is visible. You'll just have to click for the launch.
I have done that living long back.
Okay. So, Jay, Veer, could you assist in some way?
You can.
Should I try once again? Let me try once again.
Yes, please.
Is it visible now?
No, Taru. The ribbon is
Still there.
Maybe we can just have the poster without the ribbon.
I'm stop sharing and then sharing the post.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Taru, keep it full screen.
Okay, so this is
the project poster. Edwin, sorry, you were saying something.
No. I think this is indeed the project poster that will be circulated all over Europe, and it also will have the registration link. I'm sure it will also be shared with all the participants that are now in this meeting. Over to you, Livleen.
Yeah. Thank you. We will speak about all the entire information that is on the poster now. So students, don't worry. It will be given to you very soon. And Taru, you could stop this screening. And okay. Thank you. So, students, all the participants who are present today, what we are going to do now is we are going to give you details of all the competitions which are planned under the conclave. And in the next few slides, you will see these in a complete descriptive form. And of course, we have the option where you could put in your queries, your questions, and we are there to answer you now and even later on when we are in field for the implementation of the project. As has been mentioned a couple of occasions earlier, this is a joint initiative spearheaded by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, and European Union, India. And this partnership is under the prestigious SPIPA project, which is Strategic Partnership for Implementation of the Paris Agreement. Needless to say, this partnership, this project talks about climate change issues, and this has been very innovatively packaged into the form of a youth climate conclave. And this shows the importance that our ministry, our esteemed partners give to the issue of climate change being handled by the youth of today, because it is you who are going to make a difference tomorrow. Our implementation partners are GIZ, CEEW, and TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute, who will be bringing forward this program to different parts of the country under different packages. So the overall theme of the program, the goal of the program, is to engage, empower, and educate students about the issue of climate change. As mentioned earlier, on 4th October, we had launched the first edition, and that actually coincided with the International Day of the Smile. So I still remember when, with smiling faces, the youth delegates and the panelists and the esteemed guests had come forward to launch this initiative. And this is the project poster of edition 1. There were competitions under the category of photography and blogging, and these were the themes, and we got very good participation. I think close to 650 students had participated in the program. And after the competitions were over, we had an eminent jury who selected the finalists, and they were brought forward both on ground, on field, through the WSDS summit, which is TERI's umbrella summit, important summit called as World Sustainable Development Summit, which talks about a unique forum of bringing together top leadership to discuss and deliberate the issues of environment. So this was the WSTS, where we under which we held the Youth Climate Conclave, and the entries submitted by the students were compiled as a calendar and also a monograph that came out of the contributions was also released and distributed amongst the participants at the summit. So this was what it was. And then we had, after the World Sustainable Development Summit, we had the Earth Day celebrations, which were the 50th Earth Day celebrations. We brought forward again youth who spoke about how they are still engaged, and that's when we again had Darsha Vatsa with us, and we brought in the impressions of youth, and we also laid out the avenues where we feel that the youth are concerned about and they want to work in future. They spoke about how youth networks are essential, how data accumulation and documentation of case studies and a forum to exchange their ideas were essential to sustain the momentum of the program. Anyway, we were thinking of the second edition of Youth Climate Conclave, but these thoughts were instrumental in designing the program. Then we had the launch of a very special youth feature of WSTS 2021, which was on the eve of World Environment Day on 4th June, wherein again it was reiterated the relevance of Youth Climate Conclave The program had the blessings of our Honorable Minister, Shri Javadkar ji, and top leaderships from different countries and consortiums who came forward to address and speak with youth, telling them that for them, youth voices matter. And we had a youth delegate who spoke at the summit and again mentioned, Darsha, what you had spoken about your personal initiatives again find resonance in what Shambhavi spoke about. She also spoke about the relevance of local handicrafts, the local initiatives, and how immediate actions lead on to global impacts. So this was a very successful event that happened on 4th June, and it again set the pace of our Youth Climate Conclave, the second edition of YCC. Both edition 1 and edition 2 focus on climate change and sustainability, and our torchbearers are the youth. So while there are unique and similar USPs of the program, there is also something very unique about the edition 2. In edition 2, we somehow want to hand over this entire program to the youth, so that while we are there to mentor and support them, they are able to themselves experiment and implement and see how their ideas and how their ideation can make an impact at their local environment. So we look forward to honing the sustainability leadership skills in the youth, and also we look forward in further establishing a very strong, robust youth network that will work towards addressing the challenges of climate change. The entire program is distributed into 2 phases. Currently, we are just looking at a scenario till December 2020, because a lot of on-ground events and programs will be decided only when we see the future of our campuses. So we will tune the programs accordingly, but we are going to talk about, and most of these programs have now been done. We have done the stakeholders, the kickoff, we have announced the competitions open, and now we look forward to the main YCC webinar, which will be held on the International Climate Day, which is 24th October. And of course, the spin-offs of the webinar, which what I had mentioned earlier to Daksh, that it is a group mentoring exercise, a student to student reach out exercise, wherein our students, our ambassadors, will be further speaking to their own friends, to their own partners, and see how they can create a more robust youth movement. The activities under the second phase will be announced at a later period, and please stay tuned with us to hear more about it. But definitely calendars, monograph, video documentation, a youth event is something that we have lined up for you in future. The virtual stakeholders meeting was well attended by around 20 members from across the country, and they have extended support to us for the program to be carried forward to all parts of the country. We will have a jury that is composed of both national and regional experts, and we will reach out to all youth partnerships and programs through this like-minded stakeholder list that we have with us now. The competitions are like this. We have a photo competition, a blog writing, and a short video competition. It is open to two age categories, 13 to 18 years, which is primarily the school segment, where the Eco Club movement is really going to help us a lot to reaching out to the country, all parts of the country, and the 19 to 25 age group, which will comprise primarily the college students who will, and young practitioners who will be part of the movement. We will come out with a calendar, a monograph, and a video documentary, which will be screened and disseminated at various forums. I was going through some of the chat messages, and some of you have asked the students who were a part of the phase 1 can also be a part of the second edition. Yes, of course. If you were a part of the first edition, you can again participate in the second edition of the program, and we look forward to you as being our ambassadors to carry forward the messages. The thrust of the webinar is going to be on the science of climate change. The exact topic and details will be sent to you soon. We will, after the webinar, you will be engaging with experts for follow-up activities at your campuses, which will be again recorded. And we will encourage a peer-to-peer learning where our youth participants will further be our ambassadors of hope and promotion of climate positive messages. Now, please pay attention to this slide. This is about the photography competition mentioned in the 2 age categories. The topic is climate action, a world of possibilities. The participants have, of course, to submit an original photograph. It should not be taken from from another contribution. Even your own contribution of last year will not hold true for this year. It has to be an original photograph. And then with a 15-word tagline, you have to communicate a powerful message that your photograph is trying to speak about. Please be very careful about this tagline. Do not submit as paragraphs, because this tagline will feature on the calendar, which will be based on your contributions. The judges will shortlist the entries based on, of course, the technical resolution, the clarity of the photograph, the impactful messaging, and the visual itself. We are going to focus on positive youth actions related to climate change sectors. And these are, as you see mentioned on the slide, agriculture, renewable energy, which is a part of overall energy scenario, water, waste management, resource efficiency, sustainable lifestyles, and biodiversity. We do not want you to give us any please avoid giving us any doomsday messaging. We do not want to create any eco anxiety amongst you. Give us hopeful messages, because that is what we are looking for when we are launching this competition. This is a forum of positivity and positive action. So the resolution should be 2 MB, and the JPEG dimensions are also mentioned, 200 dpi at 2000 pixels. You could do some minor adjustments, and all these details would also reach you in the registration forms that will be posted to you from tomorrow. Please remember that the deadline of submission is 15th October, and the applicants can submit only one entry. Do not cancel your registration by submitting more than one entry. For the blogging contest, we have the same age categories. The topics are sustainable lifestyles, a need of the hour. The second topic is local actions for global impact. And third, of course, the role of youth for climate action. The guidelines are mentioned. The blog entry should not exceed 500 words, and the medium can be both English and Hindi. So the criteria for selection would be, of course, originality, the presentation style, the presentation of factually correct information, and please do not copy from any sources, because the entire content will be subjected to a plagiarism test. So the broad topics that mentioned over here are: you can talk about interlinkages between climate change and renewable energy, agriculture, water, energy as whole, waste, resource efficiency, sustainable lifestyles, and indigenous knowledge. The blog has to be original, as I mentioned, and we do not want to have anybody being expelled from the competition. Remember the deadline as 15th October, and that you can submit only one entry. The video competition will be on the topic of Act Now, Solutions for Climate Change. The age categories remain the same. The topics are also the same as I mentioned in the earlier two slides. The judging criteria is creativity, originality, clarity of messaging, and overall impact. Remember, you have to give us a maximum, an impactful message within a limit of 2 minutes, that is 120 seconds. Then you should have a title screen which should include your name, your college, your school, and the title of the video, including the total running time. You can upload the videos on the YouTube link. We will give you more details of about this a little later. Then of course, after you announce, you submit your entries, you are giving us permission to use them, but we will be using it with complete credit to you. That holds true for all the three entries: your blogs, your photographs, and your videos. Remember, the deadline of submission is 15th October, and you can submit only one entry. What is in store for you? You are a part of this prestigious forum is in itself a very good incentive for you. It calls for a grand recognition and accolade. All your submissions, and especially the winning submissions, sorry, would be featured in the calendar and the monograph, and would be also showcased on the web platform, sorry. The capacity building sessions will be held. This holds true for all the participants, irrespective that you are a part of the competition or not. But it is good that you participate both in the capacity building sessions and also the competitions, because only then you can get the maximum value of the entire property. Then you will, after you are a part of this robust network, opportunities of internships in the field of climate science and environment education will open up for you. All the partners mentioned in the project, like TERI, CW, GIZ, and of course Ministry and EU, we will see to it that we are able to engage you positively even after the program, the competition is over. And we will announce several internship opportunities which you can avail. All participants will receive e-certificates, winners will get medals, mementos, and as I mentioned, your work will be showcased at national and global platforms. You will feature on social media pages, and you will be an ambassador for your own peers and juniors. So please do participate and spread the message. Our major partners and affiliates, as mentioned, are the eco clubs under the NGC, the MYA Ministry of Youth Affair channel of NSS and NYKS, the SGSN platform, IYCN, ISEC, YFA, and all the campuses, educational campuses across the country. Students, what we want to see at the end of the project is not a culmination of yet another successful project. What we want to see is that we are able to create a ripple effect, and the movement that we have created now is sustained for times to come. And you are going to be our ambassadors to promote the climate agenda in the academic institutions. And with the new NEP coming in shape, you will see there are ample opportunities for you to do so. We will be closely associated with the faculties and your coordinators and supervisors. So please interact with them and further strengthen and promote this strong message of climate change through your networks. So that is all for the competitions. I hope you have been able to see all the relevant points, and still you have some questions. Do not hesitate to ask us now. We are with you, and let us know. And also later, once we send the registration forms to you, you can always get back to us for more queries. So thank you so much. And with this, we open up the Q&A session. what we are going to do now is my colleagues have collated certain questions which they are going to bring forward to the panelists, and we will be able to. There was one question that I had picked up. There were concerns about whether you could participate again. I also mentioned in my presentation that yes, you can participate again, irrespective of the fact that you were there in year edition 1 or not. So yes, again, I see a question. Can we forward the link to other friends as well? So of course, that is the purpose of this entire program. You are our ambassadors. So this is a program for the youth and by the youth, and you have to talk to your friends to see that maximum interest is generated. So any other questions, Monmi, that you would like, Dr. Bose, Mr. Edwin? We also have Miss Richa from MOEFCC. Welcome, Richa. You address at this stage. And Jay is also with us from GIZ.
Livleen, there are no questions on the YouTube as of now. So I'm looking at
the
the
chat.
live chats that are going on, but Monmi has a lot of questions. So over to you, Monmi.
Monmi?
So in the meantime, Livleen, what can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, one question that I saw coming back several times is whether you can participate in the 3 competitions. I think that's the case, no? You can submit the photo and the blog, but in each you can only submit 1.
Yes.
But you can participate in the 3 competitions, is my understanding. Can you confirm?
Yes, please, Edwin, that is true. A student can participate in all the 3 competitions, but you have to submit only 1 entry for each category. There was another question that I have been seeing is that are we supposed to be sharing positive messages only? Yes, my dear friend, that is the purpose of the platform. We want to create a sense of hope, and that hope comes with positive messaging. While we are concerned about the impacts on our environment, what we want the youth to focus is on the positivity, and please focus on positive messaging through the competition. So that is the case, Edwin. So that is the program.
Livleen, there's a question from Shinat Oberoi.
Yes.
She's asking, what are the major effects that are causing climate change and how is it likely to change in future? And this question is addressed to Dr. Bose.
Okay. May I request Dr. Bose to please address the question?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, sir. So it is, what are the major effects that are causing climate change and how is it likely to change in future?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Basically, major causes of climate change are 2 things. One is change in radiation balance and change in composition of the atmospheric greenhouse gases. And these are basically, if we talk about climate change, it is going to change naturally. But over the recent years, the changes, the industrial activities, urbanizations, and other activities, deforestation and like that, those are affecting both the things. One is solar albedo and change in greenhouse gas composition. All this is changing the radiation budget and impacting the greenhouse gas. That is the cause. And regarding this trend is continuing. So in future also it will be going to, unless we check the greenhouse gas emission at the stabilize it, in future also it will growing. So that will be the consequences in future.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Another question is from a student named Aditya. He is asking that the present government is doing a lot of actions to reduce our effects on climate change, but are these actions enough or do we have to escalate our actions?
Dr. Bose, can you please?
From policy side and from the action program schemes and other things are going on. So if you consider the country as a whole, and if we see our NDC commitment in the Paris Agreement, we need to add additional efforts to achieve our target for the NDC, National Determined Contribution, that we have submitted to Paris Agreement. But beyond this, if we talk about this changing climatic event, basically flood, droughts, and other things, we require more efforts at infrastructure level. And government is proactive in doing these activities.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
There are a couple of students who have asked this question, that during lockdown, the environment, the natural environment is improving. But there are chances that once the lockdown is taken up, the condition will again hamper. So any thoughts, sir, on that?
Yeah, obviously. Basically, when you talk about greenhouse gases, if you see the lifetime of greenhouse gas is around more than 50 years or 100 years or even more. Some of the gases are having lifetime of thousands of years. So this transient period of COVID, that is from March to July so far, it is around 4 or 5 months. So it may not have impact on these greenhouse gases, but from the pollution side, pollutants are having small lifetime in the atmosphere. So pollutant side, air pollution side, it is a good period. But from climate change point of view or greenhouse gas, it may not have significant effect as such. So both the things are different. One is climate change and another is air pollution. From air pollution side, this period is very good. Air quality is improved basically during that complete lockdown period. Now also it is increasing. But climate change, as greenhouse gases have long lifetime, they may not have significant impact. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There was one question.
Could I say also something on this subject?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, so just to say that indeed, if there are impacts on climate change, then these are impacts. But a big impact is, for example, that the climate conference in Glasgow that was supposed to be held this year has been moved to, so all the international has been postponed to next year. In the EU, there is a big discussion on whether we should use the pandemic crisis and all the recovery packages, so all the investments to recover from the COVID crisis. We should use it to invest also in the new economy, in a sustainable green economy that also helps with this bigger climate change issue that is that we need to address. So the recovery from the pandemic can be used to also address climate change by investing in energy efficiency, by investing in renewable energy, as also India is doing. I just wanted to mention that.
You're right. Thank you.
Livleen, another question from a student is that as humans, can we control the natural and climatic conditions? It's too tough for them. So how as humans they can control it?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
So one of the students is asking that as humans, how can they control natural and climatic conditions? I mean, what they are trying to say, I think, is that any immediate action if they can take to control any climatic conditions, worse climatic conditions.
Okay. Basically, natural climatic condition, we don't have much control. Basically, it is controlled by the solar system, basically, and 5 subsystems. Those are hydrosphere, lithosphere, cryosphere, and atmosphere. But when I talk about the anthropogenic things, and those activities are linked with the human activity, basically transportation, cooking, industrial emissions, etc. With better technology, and to some extent it can be reduced with practices also. If we switch off the fan and light, electric gadgets when not in use can save some emission reduction, GHG emission reduction. Similarly, in industry, if we put some high energy efficient equipments, those will be reducing the emissions. Similarly, process also in chemical process and industrial process also, if we use efficient technology, we can reduce it. From domestic actions and other things, the reduction will be not high, but it will not be too significant, but it is significant with practice. If we walk small distances without using cars, using bicycles, switching off the electrical gadget when not in use, without reducing wastage of water, etc. These are practices, basically good practices for reducing emissions, basically greenhouse emissions. And industrial side, those are the emissions in the industrial sector is high, and accordingly you have to plan for energy efficiency technology, basically modern technologies. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So as I had mentioned in my presentation, students, when we announce the webinars, please participate enthusiastically, because that is where you will listen to experts like Dr. Bose, who will actually talk about the climate science, what is the subject, what is the technical content that you need to be aware about as you step forward to take action. Any action will be meaningless if you are not well versed with the subject matter. So please read up enough on climate change and connect with experts to know more about this particular issue. Thank you, Dr. Bose. Taru? I saw one competition related question. Somebody had asked that can we take help from our friends to compose our videos? I think, Jay, we will not permit that, because the competition entries should be done by the students themselves. So please do not take any technical professional help in formulating the videos that you make, because the jury will come to know of whether it's an amateur entry or it is a professional entry. So it has to be original piece of art for you. So Edwin, that is true. So we will not encourage any professional entries in the competition.
No, I think it's fine if people do things together with a group, although it will be just one name. It will be just one name that will be the representative of this group. But I think if students can help each other, but the idea is indeed not to use professional help.
Yes,
it should be done by the youth itself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So any other questions, Monmi?
Evelyn, there was another question, that how long will the Youth Climate Conclave last?
Okay.
If you want to answer that.
Okay. I think, Edwin, would you like to answer this? How long will the Youth Climate Conclave last? So if they're talking of the competitions, I can answer that, but maybe you could take this question.
So the idea is that we create this new network with high involvement of the Ministry of TERI, of GIZ India, and as EU, we're also very keen on staying involved. So we hope that after the second Youth Climate Conclave, there will be a third and a fourth, and so that we create something structural. Yes, so the Youth Climate Conclave itself, there we still need to see what the situation will be next year. We don't really know what the pandemic will look like. So last year we had a physical meeting of 2 days, and we will need to see whether that's also possible next year or whether we need to do something virtual. That's all still to be seen. There was one question I saw. There was also actually 2 or 3 people were asking about more, and it's actually a question to Mr. Bose. Mr. Bos? Yeah. I think there were 1 or 2 or 3 questions related to the eco clubs and what they are. Could you tell a little bit more about eco clubs, or perhaps, yeah, explain how they can be involved?
Basically, in the ministry, there is a complete cell working for the eco club. So if they have any queries on that, they can send some communication to me so that I can link them with the particular group in that way.
Thank
So
you.
it is active and working over the years. And if anybody willing to participate or know to more about it, they can send me some email. I think you people have my email ID. You can share with the students, so that I can help them getting in touch with the concerned group in that way. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Thank you, sir. That will be useful.
And could I also, I saw one other question, and I think it's related to one question that you already addressed, but perhaps we need to repeat it. So this competition is not only for the people that participate in today's kickoff. The idea is that as many young people as possible participate, because all of this is also about creating awareness and informing each other, youth informing each other. So also if you know people in your surroundings or in your school, of course they can also participate in this competition. So the more the better. Thank you.
Yes, please. That is needed. So other questions, I feel there's a repeat in most of them. Anything specific is there that we need to address now, or we could
There's
move on?
one last question. What are the opportunities, according to you, to protect the livelihoods of rural poor communities that are affected by climate change? So on the livelihood of affected people. This is the question by Gitanjali.
Yeah, basically, if we talk about the climate event, extreme events, and the livelihood loss, Government of India is having different plan, program, schemes working at district level or at the village level also. That is one part. Second part, if it is due to extreme event and other things, the Disaster Management Act 2005, that is taking care of immediate relief and livelihood support during disaster, including rehabilitation and other things. And further, there is adaptation program from the state government side as well as central government side to provide different program and activities to support adaptation schemes. So this Government of India has having a large number of schemes, and they are supporting each state government, and the state government also supporting such schemes. And there, in addition, there is other livelihood scheme also in place. This Manrega schemes, that is totally livelihood supporting scheme. So all these schemes are supporting the rural livelihood to get proper livelihood support in not only during this disaster crisis period, but also in other duration when there is lack of opportunity, and especially this during this COVID-19 situation also, the migrant, those left their workplace and went back to their villages, they're also being supported by the different schemes of the Government of India or state governments. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So thank you everyone. That was really indeed insightful. Now I would like to request Edwin to give the concluding remarks for today's program as we formally bring the program to a close. And thank you to all the participants. Over to you, Edwin, please.
Yes, thank you. Perhaps there's one other question that I saw, actually 2 questions. One question was about this positive message and saying that shouldn't we also address the negative impact of climate change? And another question was saying, will climate change be our destruction for our Earth? So it's indeed, I think in this awareness, we need to know what the impacts of climate change are. So also in your blogs, of course, you can address the impacts, but we believe that it does not help to focus on doom scenarios. It's more important now to focus on what we can do to address this issue. So to focus on the possible positive actions while being realistic on the impacts. That would be my answer. So I'm afraid this webinar is now over. We are running out of time. I'm very happy with the high participation and the many questions. I'm sorry if we missed some of those questions. We will communicate very actively on the via the ministry channels, the TERI channels, the EU channels, GIZ, and also CEW. So there you will be able to find all the links and all the information, and you can read again what was also explained by Dr. Lieflin. So I would like to end this this webinar by once again thanking very warmly the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and in particular Dr. Subrata Bose for being here with us today, and also I would like to thank Mrs. Richa Verma for her great support. I would like to thank TERI for their always really excellent organization of these webinars. GIZ India, and in particular Jay, who is also in this panel, and also CEW. So once again, many thanks, and I hope I will be seeing many of you in the follow-up activities, and that I will see many of your contributions to the 3 competitions. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you, and stay all very safe in this difficult times. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. So that brings us to the closure of this webinar. Stay tuned with us, and we will reach out to you very soon. So you may please you can leave the webinar now. Thank you so much. Thank you. We conclude the program.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your presence.